Little People, Big Dreams, Mahatma Gandhi. This is the story of a little boy with a very big heart. His name was Mohandas, and he lived a simple life in a city by the Indian coast called Porbandar. Mohandas learned from his mother to be honest and always tell the truth. He dreamt of a world where no living thing was ever hurt and everyone wanted the best for all. When he was 19, Mohandas travelled to London to go to law school. At that time, the British Empire ruled his country of India. Living in London gave him the chance to learn lots of things about English culture. With his degree in hand, Mohandas moved to South Africa to work as a lawyer. But things were not easy for Indians there. One day he was thrown out of a train for refusing to leave first class, a carriage that was reserved for white people only. Mohandas decided to protest against that injustice in his very own way. He sat quietly in the middle of the street. Soon thousands of Indians joined him. It was the first peaceful resistance movement ever. For more than 20 years, Mohandas and his followers kept working to improve the rights of Indians in South Africa. But he wanted to go back to India and lead his country out of the bonds of the British Empire. Back home, Mohandas took off his expensive British suit and started wearing traditional Indian clothes. It was his way to show support to his people. Mohandas's peaceful movement spread across India. His supporters protested against the unfair English laws by refusing to work and cooperate with the government. When Britain made salt expensive to buy, Mohandas marched 241 miles to the Indian Ocean to protest. He harvested the salt himself to give to his people. This little gesture shook the world in the gentlest way. Mohandas was put in jail many times for organising these protests. Some of the people he loved most in the world died while he was imprisoned. As a way to claim his freedom, Mohandas stopped eating. The British were scared that Mohandas might die in prison, so they decided to release him. That day, the rich and the poor celebrated together as one. His people called him Mahatma, meaning great soul. He became the father of the Indian nation and one of the most famous leaders for justice and civil rights. And Mahatma, the little boy with the very big heart, gave a single lesson to those who hope for a brighter future. Sometimes the power of peace is greater than the power of force. Mahatma Gandhi, born 1869, died 1948. When Mohandas was a young boy, his mother instilled core Hindu values in him that influenced his later life, like a commitment to non-violence. He was surrounded by friends with many faiths, which also influenced his worldview. When he turned 19, Mohandas moved to England to study law. While there, he honoured his cultural traditions and remained vegetarian for the duration of his stay. He qualified as a lawyer and then moved to South Africa for work. There, he was struck by the injustice Indians experienced by white settlers. Mohandas was not allowed to sit in the same train carriages as white people, and all Indian people had to have their fingerprints taken by law. This discrimination motivated Mohandas to become an activist. He organised people to defy the unfair laws peacefully, but was arrested and put in prison. Later, when he was released, he worked to help Indian people win the right to vote in South Africa. Mohandas then turned his attention to the British Empire's rule in India. At that time, the Indian people were not allowed to vote for their own government. Mohandas led the movement to free India from the British Empire. He used non-violent protests to resist the rule. He was arrested in 1942 for promoting the idea of independence. People were distraught and violence ran riot across the country. Gandhi was dismayed and stopped eating as a way to protest. Eventually, Britain formally left India. Some people disagreed with Gandhi for promoting peace and tolerance and tried to kill him. Sadly, one man succeeded. Today, Gandhi is remembered as the father of India, a passionate hero who fought for freedom and opposed violence at all costs.
if you'd like to read more with us, we've got plenty more books we'd love to share with you, and hit subscribe below. Thank you.